There are 10 things you are probably doing to your cockatoo right now, today, with love, with good intentions, with the genuine belief that you are being a good owner. And every single one of them is quietly damaging your bird in ways that will not surface for months or years until the day your cockatoo starts screaming, biting, plucking, or shutting down, and you will have no idea where it came from. It came from this list, and every item on it is something you can stop today. Subscribe if your cockatoo's health matters more than your comfort right now. Start with your hands, specifically where they go when you touch your cockatoo. Every stroke down your cockatoo's back, every rub under their wings, every warm scratch along the belly that makes them lean in and close their eyes. You feel love. Your cockatoo feels something else entirely. Those regions of a cockatoo's body are directly linked to sexual stimulation. Touching them activates the reproductive hormone cascade, the same physiological sequence that prepares the bird's body for mating. And a cockatoo who receives this stimulation daily from their bonded human is a bird living in permanent hormonal activation. Their body is being told to breed. No breeding occurs. The hormones do not resolve. The frustration compounds. And within weeks or months, the bird you knew begins to disappear beneath a hormonal program that produces aggression, territorial biting, excessive screaming, chronic masturbation, egg-laying in females, and the emotional volatility that owners describe as a personality change. It was not a personality change. It was a hormonal override that you activated with affection, and that will not deactivate until the touching pattern changes. Avian veterinarians identify this as the single most common cause of behavioral deterioration in companion cockatoos. The correction splits your heart. Touch only the head, cheeks, and neck, never below, no matter how much they lean into it, because the leaning is the hormonal response itself, and continuing it deepens the cycle you need to break. Now consider where your cockatoo sits while you touch them. A cockatoo on your shoulder is at your eye level. In cockatoo social architecture, eye level means equal or dominant rank, and a cockatoo who spends hours daily at your eye level does not experience that as bonding. It experiences it as a status assignment. Over weeks, it internalizes the belief that it outranks you and every other human in the household, and the moment you need to assert a boundary, returning them to the cage, refusing a demand, introducing a visitor, the cockatoo does not comply. It retaliates, with genuine indignation. Because from its perspective, a subordinate just attempted to overrule a dominant flock member, and that is a violation it will enforce with the full force of the strongest beak in the parrot family. The correction is not eliminating shoulder access, but controlling it. Short sessions, you decide when they start, you decide when they end. The cockatoo learns that height is a privilege you grant, not a rank they hold. And what happens when they come off the shoulder and begin to scream? This is where most owners make the third mistake without realizing the mechanism they are feeding. Your cockatoo screams. You respond. It does not matter how you respond. Yelling back, rushing in, saying quiet, covering the cage, even making eye contact from across the room. Every response is attention, and attention is the single most powerful reward in cockatoo psychology. The cockatoo's brain does not parse whether the attention was positive or negative. It registers only that vocalization produced human engagement. Scream equals result. Result reinforces scream. The cycle accelerates. And every method you have tried to stop the screaming, every verbal correction, every frustrated reaction, every attempt to reason with a bird whose operant conditioning is being cemented by your participation has made it worse. Correction requires discipline that will feel cruel. Complete non-response. Zero engagement during a scream. Leave the room if necessary. Become invisible. And the instant the bird offers silence or an appropriate vocalization, a whistle, a word, a contact call at normal volume, you flood them with enthusiastic attention. You are teaching the brain a new equation. Silence is the key that unlocks your presence. Screaming is the lock that seals it. Now look at the cage you put them in after the screaming stops. If you have ever placed your cockatoo in their cage as a consequence for biting, screaming, or any unwanted behavior, you have been poisoning the one space that should be the safest territory in their world. A cage used as punishment becomes a cage associated with rejection. The bird does not learn that their behavior was wrong. They learn that the cage means something bad happened. And across repetitions, the cage itself becomes a source of anxiety. Reluctance to enter, thrashing when the door closes, bar biting, escalating distress. A cockatoo who has been punished with their own home is a cockatoo who never fully relaxes inside it. and they spend more hours in that cage than anywhere else. The correction is permanent and non-negotiable. The cage only ever means safety, food, foraging, sleep, and rest. If correction is needed, withdraw your attention or move the bird to a neutral perch. Never weaponize their home. Now consider who you let into that home to handle your bird. Cockatoos are not socialites. They are monogamous pair bonders who psychologically invest in 1 to 3 individuals. When you hand your cockatoo to a visitor, encourage a friend to hold them, or pass them around at a gathering. You are forcing social contact that your cockatoo cannot verbally refuse. They process it as a boundary violation facilitated by the one person they trusted to protect them from exactly this. Every forced interaction erodes not their trust in the stranger, but their trust in you, in your willingness to read their signals and advocate for their comfort over a guest's entertainment. The correction is becoming your cockatoo's gatekeeper. You read the body language before any interaction occurs. The instant discomfort appears, leaning away, feather compression, beak opening, eye pinning, you remove the bird, immediately, regardless of how the visitor feels about it. Your cockatoo's psychological safety outranks your guest's desire to hold a parrot. Now open the food bowl. If it is full of seeds, your cockatoo is dying in slow motion and neither of you knows it. Seeds are catastrophically deficient in vitamin A, calcium, and essential amino acids, while being dangerously high in fat. A cockatoo on a seed-based diet is developing fatty liver disease, progressive calcium depletion, immune suppression, and feather degradation every single day in a process so gradual that the bird appears healthy right up until the blood panel reveals organ values that have been silently collapsing for years. The correction is a transition to a pellet-based diet supplemented with daily fresh vegetables, cooked grains, and limited fruit, with seeds reduced to occasional training rewards. This transition may take weeks. It will save years. Now look at the clock. If your cockatoo is still awake because you are still awake, their endocrine system is paying a price your eyes cannot detect. Cockatoos require 10 to 12 hours of uninterrupted complete darkness every night. Every hour of artificial light after sunset disrupts melatonin production, destabilizes cortisol rhythms, activates reproductive hormones out of season, and produces chronic sleep deprivation that the cockatoo cannot report and the owner cannot observe because the bird's eyes are open and it appears alert, when in reality its internal clock is broken and every biological system governed by that clock is slowly degrading. The correction is a non-negotiable lights-out schedule. Complete darkness, complete quiet, minimum 10 hours, every single night, regardless of your evening plans. Now check whether there is a mirror in the cage. A mirror does not give your cockatoo a friend. It gives them a psychological trap. They pair bond to the reflection, attempt to feed it, attempt to court it, receive no reciprocal response, and spiral into a deepening confusion that produces territorial aggression, hormonal dysregulation from the constant visual presence of a perceived mate, and self-directed frustration when the reflection fails to behave like a real bird. Remove every mirror from their environment permanently. Replace the stimulation with your presence, or, if circumstances allow, consider an actual avian companion. Now look at their wings. If they are clipped, understand what was removed. Not feathers, autonomy, escape, exercise. The primary mechanism through which a cockatoo experiences psychological agency over its own body and environment. There are legitimate safety arguments for clipping in certain homes, but the decision is too often made for convenience. A bird that cannot fly is easier to manage, and a bird that cannot fly has exactly one remaining defense when frightened: the beak. Wing clipping directly increases bite frequency and intensity because you eliminated flight and left biting as the only self-protective option. A clipped cockatoo who falls repeatedly develops learned helplessness, the neurological resignation that occurs when an organism's primary survival response fails consistently. The correction is committing to a flight-safe environment where your cockatoo can fly freely, or if clipping is genuinely necessary, doing so minimally under avian veterinary guidance rather than as a reflexive default. The 10th mistake is the hardest to hear because it has nothing to do with cages, food, wings, or mirrors. It has to do with you. Stop loving them only when it is convenient. Your cockatoo does not understand that you had a bad day at work. Does not register that you are tired. Cannot process that you will make it up to them tomorrow. They experience only this moment, and whether in this moment the person they have bonded their entire emotional existence to is present or absent. And the inconsistency of being deeply engaged on Saturday and functionally invisible on Tuesday evening is more damaging than receiving moderate, unremarkable attention every single day, because the inconsistency creates an unpredictable pattern that the cockatoo's brain cannot model, and a cockatoo who cannot predict your emotional availability lives in perpetual anxious vigilance, never knowing which version of you is about to walk through the door. The correction is not to love them more, it is to love them more evenly. The same greeting, the same 10 minutes, the same presence, the same warmth, every single day without exception. Your cockatoo does not need your best day every day. They need your same day every day. If you recognized yourself in this video, in one of these, in several, in most, you are not a bad owner. You are a loving owner who was never given the truth. The pet industry romanticized cockatoo ownership. Social media made it look effortless. Popular culture reduced a 60-year emotional commitment to a cute bird on a shoulder. Nobody told you what these animals actually require, because the truth is not marketable and the reality is not simple. But you watch this. All of it. And the kind of person who watches a 10-minute video cataloging their own mistakes because they want to be better for an animal who cannot ask them to be, that is exactly the kind of person who will stop these 10 things today. Your cockatoo has been waiting for this version of you. Go be them. Like this if you're making changes tonight, and subscribe. You're already becoming the owner they need.